Right now, in a village where even the sky has forgotten how to cry, one little girl is holding the very last seed this land will ever see. Everyone else has given up. But she hasn't. And what she does next will either save her entire village, or break her heart forever. Shandamper had not seen rain in 22 months. The fields that once danced with mustard flowers now looked like cracked, bleeding earth. Cattle lay down and never got up again. Mothers stopped singing lullabies because their children cried from hunger instead of sleep. Priya Sharma was only 8, but she already understood what death tasted like. It tasted like dust in the back of your throat every single morning. Her father, Ramesh, used to tell stories of the old days. Now he barely spoke. His shoulders carried the weight of every failed harvest. Her mother, Lakshmi, would boil the same few grains of rice over and over until the water turned milky with nothing left to give. And yet, Priya still smiled. Not because she didn't understand pain. She smiled because she still believed something beautiful could grow even here. One evening, as the sun bled across the horizon, old Thakurji called the villagers together. "This is the last sack of seeds we have," he said, his voice cracking. "We will plant them together tomorrow, and pray." But when they opened the sack, there was almost nothing left. Only one single seed rolled out onto the dusty ground. The villagers laughed bitterly. Some cried. Ramesh turned away in shame. Priya, standing at the edge of the crowd in her torn yellow sari, stepped forward. She bent down and picked up that tiny seed. It rested in her small palm like a secret. Anand whispered, "Priya, it's useless. The land is dead." She looked at him with those big, bright eyes and said softly, "Then I will give it my own life." That night, while the village slept in despair, Priya took the seed to the small patch of dirt behind her house. She dug a tiny hole with her fingers until they bled. She placed the seed inside like she was tucking a baby into bed. Then she did something no one else would do. She took the little water her mother had saved for her to drink the next day, and poured it onto the seed. Every single day after that, Priya gave her water to the seed. She would wake before dawn, walk 2 kilometers to the dying well, wait in line for hours, and bring back just enough for her family, and the seed. Her lips cracked. Her head felt light. But every evening she would sit beside that small mound of earth and whisper, "Please grow. For Papa. For Mama. For all of us." The villagers began to talk. "That girl is crazy. She's wasting water while we starve. Even her father can't control her anymore." Ramesh was furious. One night he shouted at her, "You think you're special? You think your little seed will save us when the gods themselves have abandoned this village?" Priya cried that night. But the next morning, she still brought water to the seed. This is what hope looks like when no one else believes. It looks like a child choosing love over logic. 3 weeks passed. Nothing grew. Priya began to doubt. She sat on the small hill behind the village, hugging her knees, and asked the empty sky, "Did I make a mistake? Am I just a foolish little girl like they say?" That was her lowest moment. The moment many of us know too well, when the thing we poured our soul into shows no sign of life. She almost gave up. But that same night, a dust storm came. It nearly buried the tiny mound. Priya ran out in the dark, screaming, digging with her bare hands to protect the place where her seed slept. In that moment of desperation, she realized something deep inside. This wasn't just about the seed anymore. It was about who she chose to become while everything was dying around her. Then came the morning that changed everything. Priya woke up and walked to her little patch of earth, and there it was. A tiny green shoot, no bigger than her finger, pushing through the cracked soil. She fell to her knees and cried tears of joy that mixed with the dry dust. The news spread like wildfire. The whole village came. Even Ramesh stood there speechless. But the miracle was only beginning. That little plant grew stronger than any they had ever seen. It drank the harsh sun and turned it into life. Months later, it gave not just grain, but enough seeds for the entire village to plant again. When the first real rain finally came weeks later, the villagers weren't just celebrating water. They were celebrating the little girl who never gave up when they all had. Years later, Priya would tell her own children this story. She taught them what modern psychology now confirms, that hope is not the absence of despair, it is the decision to keep moving while despair is still present. She taught them the Buddhist truth the Buddha shared 2,500 years ago. Just as a seed grows into a mighty tree when given the right conditions, the smallest act of compassion and faith can transform suffering into awakening. The Buddha didn't say life would be easy. He said suffering is inevitable, but our response to it is what determines whether we remain broken or become the bridge for others. Priya's story shows us that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is water what everyone else has declared dead. If you are watching this right now and your life feels like Shandamper, dry, hopeless, cracked open, I want you to hear this. There is still one seed left in your hands. It might be your kindness, your courage, your decision to try one more time when everything says stop. Water it. Even when it hurts. Even when no one believes. Even when you don't believe yourself. Because somewhere, in the middle of your worst drought, a tiny green shoot is already preparing to rise. You are not alone. Your story is not over. And maybe, just maybe, the last seed in your village is you. Thank you for staying until the end. If this story touched you, share it with someone who needs hope right now. Take care of your little seed. I'll see you in the next story.